Somewhere internally and mentally, I gave up before the mains exam. In fact, the toughest barrier I faced was 1 month before this year's mains exam. August 15th, sir, I was reading in the morning and I suddenly got a very severe neck cramp. The doctor told me ki because of too much of postural errors, this has got muscle knots in entirety. So you'll have to rest. There is no problem in this world that cannot be solved with dedicated effort, with dedicated, conscious and continuous effort. If you are really wanting to make it, you can find a way to make it. It may be difficult. It may be filled with a lot of thorns. It may not be as easy for you as for some other candidates. But if you are too willing to get through, then you will find a way to get through.
So guys, I have Shashwat with me, and Shashwat की बहुत ज़्यादा interesting story है, right? He had plan B ready, plan C ready, and इसके moments of doubt that despite all of that, आज sir IPS हैं, right? So it's going to be a very interesting session. सबसे पहले हमारा एक रिचुअल है, वी स्टार्ट बाय गिविंग इंटरेस्टिंग बुक्स. ठीक है,
थैंक यू.
आपने खुद पॉल साइंस पढ़ी हुई है, सो दिस वुड एक्साइट यू.
आई नो सर, आई नो द बुक.
फ्रांसिस फुकुयामा की. सो इस ओरिजिन्स ऑफ पॉलिटिकल ऑर्डर में वो 3 चीज़ें बताता है कि these 3 factors came together in the West. That's why the West progressed at a much faster pace than the East. मतलब हम लोग हमेशा ये डिबेट करते रहते हैं ना कि हम पीछे क्यों छूट गए, जबकि हमारा सिविलाइजेशन इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग था, टेक भी एक टाइम पे बहुत अच्छा था, आर्ट कल्चर आप देख ही रहे हैं, राइट? सो आई थिंक सबसे अथॉरिटेटिव रिसर्च इन्होंने की है. एंड 3 थिंग्स दैट ही टॉक्स अबाउट इज नंबर 1 अ स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंट्रल स्टेट, सेकेंड रूल ऑफ लॉ, थर्ड अकाउंटेबिलिटी. तो वो कहते हैं कि पार्शियली ना ये हर जगह होता गया. चाइना में स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेट आ गया था बट रूल ऑफ लॉ का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं था. इंडिया में रूल ऑफ लॉ वॉज देयर कि लाइक किंग वॉज सेपरेट, ब्राह्मण्स और हमारे जो गाइडिंग डॉक्यूमेंट्स है मनुस्मृति, वेदास, दे वर सेपरेट. लाइक किंग ऑल्सो हैड टू अबाइड बाई दोज डॉक्यूमेंट्स, राइट? दोज किंग का वर्ड वॉज नॉट द फाइनल वर्ड. रूल ऑफ लॉ थोड़ा सेपरेट हो गया था. एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी इन द सेंस कि अगर आप जनरल हो तो आपका बेटा जनरल नहीं बन रहा. गवर्नमेंट इज ऑल्सो अकाउंटेबल, और अकाउंटेबिलिटी एट डिफरेंट लेवल्स. ये वाला फंडा भी वेस्ट पे ही सबसे पहले हो पाता है, राइट? सो इंटरेस्टिंग है. यू विल रीड थ्रू दिस एंड यू आर गोइंग टू एंजॉय. सेकेंड इज द अनार्की बाय विलियम डैलिम्पल. ये इंडिया की हिस्ट्री पे है, एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो अ वेरी अमेजिंग बुक. लाइक हिस्ट्री जो आपको यूपीएससी के प्रेप में बोरिंग लगी होगी, आप if you see it through the eyes of William Dalrymple, it's going to be a completely different ball game altogether. He talks about कि इन लोगों के भी काफ़ी पॉजिटिव वेस्टर्न इंटरेस्ट थे, कहाँ पे कैलकुलेशन एरर्स हुए हैं, ऑल ऑफ दैट. तो बहुत इंट्रीजिंग स्टोरी है, ठीक है?
थैंक यू.
सो वंस दिस इज डन, लेट्स गेट टू योर स्टोरी नाउ, ठीक है? आप सबसे पहले मुझे बताइए प्लान बी प्लान सी वाला पूरा फंडा, राइट? सो यू हैव 3-4 years आई थिंक यू हैव बिन इन दिस जर्नी. When is it that you say कि अब मैं full time prep नहीं कर रहा हूँ and I get to doing something else along with my prep? So सबसे पहले वहीं से शुरू करते हैं.
Sure, sir. So, sir, I basically came to Delhi in 2016 and started doing my graduation in political science from Delhi University. Post that, sir, I got selected for LAMP fellowship at PRS Legislative. Basically, in that, fellow is elected and he or she has to work with a member of parliament for 1 year. So during the fellowship process, I had decided that after the fellowship, I will dedicate myself full-time into civil services preparation. So from 2020 onwards, that is March or April onwards, I started preparing for civil services and decided that I'll give my first attempt in 2021. And I prepared for civil services like for 1 whole year. And I think it was in October 2021 that I gave my first prelims. And I could not clear the prelims itself. And it was a very close, like I missed the cutoff by 6-7 marks. And my realization was that though there were certain mistakes that I had committed in the process and in the process of solving the paper on the D-Day itself, but this exam still has a lot of uncertainty and unexpected things can prop up at any point of time in the entire journey. So I faced a very severe mental breakdown in the month of November and December after the prelims exam, where I was questioning myself if I should continue my preparation or not, because I felt that I was not able to clear the first stage itself. If I have not cleared the first stage, then how will I clear the even tougher mains, in which the competition becomes much tougher? That was what was going in the back of my mind. And parallelly, I was also very much insecure in terms of my own career as well. Now, that is very different for different aspirants. I mean, Some come with a plan of dedicating 2 to 3 years. But in my case, I had done a fellowship and all my co-fellows are also doing very well at that time. So my thought process was that if I exit the market, if I exit the space and enter the market and start doing a job, maybe 4-5 years down the line, I'll be in a good space of growth. On contrary, if I continue preparing and do not end up clearing the exam, then I would be losing a lot in terms of my career. So a lot of these questions were going in the back of my mind, and I felt that until and unless I address them, I will not be able to prepare with my full mental best. So I chalked out a plan at the very moment. I decided to appear in the master's entrance examination of JNU, and I cleared it. Like it was, I think, 15 days back before the prelims, and I gave it and I cleared it. So
15 days before the
prelims.
Next prelims.
No, sir. Before the same October. Before I had appeared in it already. Like I had filled the form. I had appeared in it. I had not decided at that time if I should join or not if I get selected. The results came in, I think, last week of November, on the first week of December. By that time, I was very insecure, as in whether I should do masters or job or continue my preparation. And touchwood, my masters, I got selected for the program, and I decided to enroll in it because in JNU the environment is very good, the course fee is very less, the attendance is not an issue. So I felt that it would be very good for me to like parallelly pursue masters, and I'll be able to justify any gap year if at all I have in it. So I continued my preparation alongside with my masters, and I decided that I will prepare full time till the end of my masters, which means the coming attempt, that is 2022, and the 23 attempt, I can prepare alongside with my masters. But if I'm not able to clear my 2023 attempt, then I will enter the market and I'll prepare alongside with a job. So I had created a foolproof plan that this is the way I'll be preparing. If it does not happen, then this is the way I'll prepare alongside with a job. If that does not happen, then I'll get integrated in the market. So I had a very planned approach where my career also does not get hurt much while preparing for the process. Because what happens with most of the aspirants is that they dedicate 6 to 7 years in entirety in this process. At times when the result is not positive, then they have a very jeopardized situation at the age of 28 and 29. So I felt that I did not want to be in that condition. I wanted some backup to be with me. And personally, sir, that gave me a lot of mental sanity. So I gave my second attempt alongside with my masters, and I was so secure. My mental state was that if I do not clear prelims, then I'll go and end up sitting in my classroom. I have something at my perusal. So my marks in first attempt in GS was 77, and in the second attempt jumped to 117. So somewhere down the line, that mental sanity helped me a lot to remain very patient, to not get nerved when the paper gets tough or you're not able to solve a question. That helped me a lot in the process. But my entire energy had gone into prelims, so somewhere down the line, my mains preparation was laggard in the second attempt in 2022. So I gave the mains examination, and the biggest blunder I committed was that I missed the 25 marks question in GS paper 1. So, and that also had a ripple effect on the rest of the papers. But I ended up not clearing the mains examination, missing the cutoff by 4 marks. So like that remained on my chest, that because I missed 25 marks of paper, I could not clear it. So in the third attempt, which was the attempt that I had planned to prepare alongside with my college, I dedicated my entire focus on mains, and I gave the prelims examination, cleared it. Then my final semester examination was scheduled in June or July, and I gave the same, and then I prepared for the mains examination in entirety. After the mains examination, I was still dicey whether I would clear this year or not. And I had a very planned approach that if I do not clear it, then I'll enter the job market. So I took up a job in the month of November, but I cleared mains in December, and I did not resign from the job. I continued working till my interview, and I gave the interview alongside. And now I have resigned after my rank has gone.
Guys, so this is like methodical planning at every step. Like आप कहीं पे भी you don't want a gap year, and you are absolutely convinced कि 100% तो prep में नहीं लगना है. वो first year वाला हो गया है, जितना समझ लिया है उसके बाद उतना it's enough. अब आगे वाली prep जो है it can happen either alongside lighter studies या फिर उसके बाद वाली तो job के साथ भी, because आप फिर दिन के आप कितने आवर्स निकाल पा रहे थे उस टाइम पे? अगर मैं
सर मास्टर्स जब कर रहे थे तो सर क्योंकि मेरा कॉलेज में बहुत एंगेजमेंट नहीं था, तो कोई ऐसा फिक्स टास्क नहीं था। मैं यूपीएससी की ही तैयारी पूरे दिन करता था, लेकिन जब मेरे कॉलेज के एग्जाम्स होते थे तो उसके 10-15 दिन पहले से मुझे कॉलेज को थोड़ा समय देना
पड़ता था।
बट सर जब अभी इंटरव्यू का प्रिपरेशन में कर रहा था तो पैरेलली प्रीलिम्स का भी प्रिपरेशन कर रहा था। तो मेरा अप्रोच ये होता था कि सैटरडे संडे को आई टेक आउट लाइक 12-13 आवर्स अ डे, एंड ऑन दी वीक डेज आई टेक आउट 4 आवर्स अ डे। एंड जब मैं ऑटो से जाता था ऑफिस या जब ऑटो से आता था तो जाते वक्त की धूप रहती थी तो न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ लेता था, आते वक्त मैं कोई पॉडकास्ट सुन लेता था। तो आई ट्राई टू कीप माई सेल्फ मेंटली इंगेज्ड ऑल्सो इन द प्रोसेस। एक चीज़, जस्ट वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड इन दिस की भले ही सर आई हैव प्रिपेयर्ड अलॉन्ग विद मास्टर्स एंड विद अ जॉब आफ्टरवर्ड्स इन द लेटर स्टेजेस, but in the initial stages for 1 to 2 years I prepared full time, and that actually created a base of my preparation, because had it not been created then I would have not been able to prepare with a master's or with a job. तो मतलब मेरा सजेशन भी कैंडिडेट्स को यही रहता है कि अगर आप फुल टाइम प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं तो 2-3 साल फुल टाइम प्रिपेयर कर लें अगर आपके पास कैपेसिटी है तो। दिस इज़ अ वेरी एग्जाम विद अ लॉट ऑफ डिटेल इन इट, आपको बहुत चीज़ें पढ़नी पड़ती है। आप एक बार बेस प्रिपेयर कर लें, 1-2 साल आप देख लें, अगर तब हो जाता है फेयर इनफ, अगर नहीं होता है देन डेफिनेटली दिस एग्जाम कैन ऑल्सो बी प्रिपेयर्ड alongside with a job and or with a master's degree.
Got it. So इसी strategy पे अगर मैं stick करूँ, ठीक है, did you have second thoughts ever, like you were so close to clearing the exam? So एक तो category of aspirants वो हो जाते हैं जिनका निकल नहीं रहा होता है, right? So उनके दिमाग में कभी dilemma आता ही नहीं है whether you know I should reconsider my decision or not. But आपके stages clear हो रहे थे, you were missing by just prelims भी बहुत कम से रहा था, mains भी 4 marks से ही रहा था, right? So at any point did you like feel कि भाई अब full time दोबारा jump in कर जाता हूँ, right? Because बहुत छोटे से जा रहा है.
Yes sir. So sir, in fact third attempt में when I got the interview call, I felt कि certain things I would have done right in mains that I have cleared the cutoff. I did not know कितने नंबर से क्लियर हुआ है। तो कहीं ना कहीं सर एक प्रेशर, एक इनर प्रेशर, एक मेंटल प्रेशर मेरे ऊपर था कि अगर हम फुल टाइम जॉब ही में रह जाते हैं, विच वॉज ऑल्सो क्योंकि इनिशियल स्टेजेस में नॉट अ वेरी लेट्स से अ वेरी हाई पेइंग जॉब, इट वॉज नॉट लाइक दैट. सो शुड आई कंटिन्यू माई प्रिपरेशन, शुड आई डू जस्टिस विद माई प्रिपरेशन rather than leaving the stage midway? So सर एक वो इनर डिलेमा रहता था हमें, बट एट दैट टाइम आई हैड प्लान कि आई विल गिव माई इंटरव्यू फर्स्ट, बिकॉज इंटरव्यू के लिए इट्स नॉट अ वेरी रिगरस प्रोसेस. आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अ रिगरस प्रोसेस, बट the amount of rigor that mains and prelims require, interview has a relatively lighter annotation. So I prepared the interview alongside with the job, and I thought ki let's wait for the results. If things do not work out, then I'll take a conscious call of either doing a job and preparing, or leaving the job and preparing full time.
Perfect. So like the clarity of thought, the clarity of, you know, आप कैसे decisions ले रहे हैं, it's very evident in what Shashwat has said. He has weighed his options so clearly, so meticulously, कि no room for any sort of like discord, internal discord at all, right? अब मुझे अगर आपसे एक चीज़ पूछनी हो, आप सोच के बताइएगा कि you know the biggest hardship that you had to overcome in this 3-4 years, like the biggest hurdle that you had to cross. So मैं उस जगह से आ रहा हूँ कि you know every aspirant that I'm meeting, of course, उनका academic acumen तो है ही. Beyond academics भी they are demonstrating amazing, exceptional qualities जो कि normal लोगों में आपको उतना नहीं दिखेगी.
Sir, in fact, the toughest barrier I faced was 1 month before this year's mains exam. So August 15, sir, I was reading in the morning and I suddenly got a very severe neck cramp that extended till my back. And बहुत ज़्यादा पेन था, so much so that I was not able to sit properly. I immediately contacted my friends. It was 15th August, Independence Day, छुट्टी थी. So 16th of August को I went and I saw an orthopedic. The doctor told me कि because of too much of postural errors and because of very rigorous sitting hours, this has got muscle knots in entirety. So you will have to rest. If you do not rest, it will pain more. तो आई टोल्ड हिम कि सर मैं मेंस एग्जाम अगले महीने लिख रहा हूँ एंड आई वुड नॉट बी एबल टू टेक दैट मच रेस्ट. सो ही सेड कि आप लेट के पढ़ो, आप बैठ के नहीं पढ़ सकते हो. एट दैट टाइम सर समवेयर लेट के पढ़ाई होती है नहीं, मतलब आई वॉज नॉट एबल टू एटलीस्ट डू दैट. सो आई वॉज फिजिकली अनहेल्दी, आई वॉज फिजिकली अफेक्टेड, आई वॉज टेकिंग पेन किलर्स, सो आई यूज्ड टू फील स्लीपी अक्रॉस द डे एंड आई लॉस्ट लाइक 5 to 10 days, 7 to 10 days around, just 1 month before the mains exam. Somewhere internally and mentally I gave up before the mains exam, and this is utmost truth. I mean, and I never thought कि I would be able to clear the mains exam then. As I was getting okay after having regular painkillers, I started trying to gain momentum back in the studies. So मेरा approach ये था कि ठीक है, मैंने 4 revisions करने का सोचा था मेंस का, 4 तो नहीं हो पाएंगे, 2 revision हो जाएंगे. And I talked to one of the toppers of last year and he said कि एक काम करो तुम, September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th में एक iteration दे दो मेंस के पूरे टेस्ट का. So जैसे फर्स्ट को essay, सेकंड को GS1, 2, थर्ड को 3, 4, फोर्थ को ऑप्शनल. सो जैसे मेंस का एग्जाम का पैटर्न है वैसे ही दे दो ताकि बॉडी थोड़ी सी एक्लेमेटाइज हो जाए फिजिकली कि मेंस के रिगर को झेल पाए, क्योंकि इट्स वेरी टफ फिजिकली ऑल्सो टू सिट इन दी मेंस एग्जाम. सो आई डिड दैट एंड इट हेल्प मी अ लॉट सिट लाइक डूइंग दैट टेस्ट सीरीज एक बार एग्जैक्टली मेंस पैटर्न पे, एंड इट हेल्प मी अ लॉट एंड आई डिड 2 रिविजन्स ओनली. वो 2 रिविजन भी बहुत अच्छे से नहीं हुआ बट आई डिड दैट. ये था सर व्हाट हेल्प मी एट दैट मोमेंट वाज कि मेरा कंटेंट वाज वेरी गुड. आई न्यू कि द कंटेंट दैट आई हैव क्रिएटेड इज better than average market ka content, but I had not revised it well. So at that moment I felt ki shayad this is the closest I have reached and I will not be able to go ahead of this. But वो जो 2 revision ही मैंने किए sir, I think I delivered जो मैंने prepare किया था उसका 50-60% ही. But I think that was in itself sufficient to clear mains and the exam itself. So that is one suggestion also I give to aspirants, that physical health is one of the most important thing in this journey because you're sitting for such long hours across months and years. So until and unless you do some gym, yoga or something that keeps you physically strong, the process in turn is very difficult to hold. That is one thing. The second thing, sir, with me mentally was what I just told you a while back, that after the first attempt when I could not clear the prelims, I was questioning myself mentally that should I continue to remain in the process or not. Because I had come out of a space where I could see a very bright future in policy, in public policy. But then I thought why I had started this. So that was one thing that always kept me going, that why I had started studying at the first place, why I started preparing for civil services at the first place. And then I could overcome that mental barrier. So I think both on your physical and mental health, you have to keep utmost care. That is why when any aspirant asks me ki kaise hoga, it's such a tough exam. I can say that with utmost humility that I also had the same thoughts. It was not that I was an exceptional candidate. I mean, if you see me otherwise, I have very normal features. I don't have any topper-like qualities, I believe. But the only thing that I tried to do was that I tried to remain in my mental best. So I asked them to avoid any negativity that comes in their mind. अगर लग रहा है कि नहीं होगा कैसे होगा, then just tell yourself कि ये मेरा reality नहीं है, ये मेरा mental weakness है. If you get overconfident, sometimes prelims के बाद and mains के बीच में they feel कि हाँ अब तो हो ही जाएगा. So that is also an equally evil thing. Do not be overconfident in this process. Just have trust in the process, but give your best. And third is avoid distractions. I mean, if you do these 3 things, which I call as elation, negativity, and distraction, then you will be at your mental best, and I think you will be unstoppable in terms of your productivity. And the 4th thing I tell aspirants is that civil services is not your life. I mean, the aim of life and the intent of life should be to do something big. Civil services can be one of the ways of doing that, but there are multiple ways of doing it. But if you follow these things, I think that you can do big irrespective of wherever you are. Whether you are in civil services or in social sector or wherever you are, you will do something big. That should be the aim of life.
It should not be an end, it should be a means to an end. And that end can be achieved by different
ways. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Perfect. अब इसी बात पे वापस आए अगर हम लोग, अवॉइडिंग नेगेटिविटी हो गया, या इतनी सारी जो नॉइस चल रही होती है, यू हैव सो मेनी टॉपर टॉक्स, यू हैव सो मेनी ओपिनियंस कमिंग कि ये मटीरियल अच्छा है, ये चीज़ अच्छी है. सो हाउ डिड यू फिल्टर आउट the excess information that's available, कि कौन सा फीडबैक लेना है, कौन सा फीडबैक नहीं लेना है, राइट? कैसे किया है आपने ये?
So that's very true. In fact, this is what we say that market में infodemic है UPSC के content का, क्योंकि अच्छा content भी बहुत है. ऐसा नहीं है सर कि सिर्फ content है, quality content is also too much. And if you try to assimilate everything, then you end up doing nothing. तो सर मेरा 2 approach होता था. First was कि I would understand the demand of the question. Let's take prelims examination, sir. Now, my understanding was that prelims is a knowledge, it's not just a knowledge-based examination. It is knowledge plus your logic that is combined to clear prelims exam. So even if I gain the knowledge of the world, if I read 10 books on art and culture and ancient and medieval, the type of questions that they're asking, I may not be able to solve them. So I have to apply logic alongside with the knowledge I have, And if the question is solvable, then I'll be able to solve it. Else, I know no one can solve it. So that would be my approach. I used to limit my sources accordingly. So for polity, if Lakshmikant is my primary source, I'll revise it only only Lakshmikant only. I'll not refer to 10 more sources just to solve certain difficult questions of polity that the cost benefit is very low. In case of mains, sir, my approach this time was a bit different. I made sure that I enrich my content from 1 to 2 more sources with a specific focus on what enrichments I want. Let's say I want an enrichment of committee recommendations. So in this mains, I made sure that after every 2-3 questions, I mention a specific committee and its recommendations in the way forward. So for skill development, there is an S.Appad Rai committee. For cybercrime, there is Gulshan Rai committee. For border security, there is Shit Katkar committee. So I made sure that I bring out these specific enrichments, not referring to multiple sources, but at least some sources where I can just get these enrichments. So I used to filter out based on the enrichments I want. So I will only filter out the committees from the sources. I will filter out keywords and examples, data and facts, Supreme Court judgments, constitutions, articles. So these were the things that I wanted to remain in my mains answer to make them stand out. And so the third thing that I did was, unrelated a bit to your question, the challenge that the candidates face is that how to retain all these things, because the information becomes so much still, because mains examination itself is a very bulky syllabus. So the third thing that I did was to kind of frame my entire notes and my entire content into frameworks. So let's say I'm studying IR. Now there are series of government programs in IR. There are series of MOUs that we have signed. We have trade relations with everyone. Now we cannot remember all the trade data. And there are multiple, let's say, relations also among countries. So I'll divide that in an acronym. So this is my unique creation for, let's say, there is any relation between countries. I would frame it in SSPDM. So S is strategic, security, political, developmental, maritime, something of that sort. And I'll create similar acronyms for all the subjects, for all the topics wherever that is possible. And I'll frame my content in the notes accordingly. So what will happen is that firstly, when I'll write the answers, I will be able to recall the points very quickly. So my number of points will increase and the time taken to write an answer will decrease. And secondly, I'll be able to learn my notes better because there is so much of content in it. So these were the 2-3 approaches that I followed to manage the excess of content in the market.
Perfect. So जैसा बाकी एस्पिरेंट्स कर रहे होते हैं, राइट, दे गेट अ हैंड आउट, दे स्टार्ट रीडिंग इट. योर्स वाज नॉट दैट अप्रोच. यू हैड वेरी क्लियर आइडिया कि मुझे इस टॉपिक के अंदर ये वाली चीज़ें चाहिए, राइट. सो हाउ डिड दिस ट्रांजिशन हैपन? पहले तो आप भी कुछ भी आपके पास आ रहा होगा, आप पढ़ रहे होंगे, राइट. एट अ पॉइंट यू थॉट दैट नहीं, ये ऐसे नहीं चलेगा, ऐसे तो बस इंफॉर्मेशन ही आई जा रही है. आई नीड टू टेक कंट्रोल और टेक चार्ज एंड सी फॉर माई सेल्फ कि मुझे एग्जैक्टली क्या क्या चीज़ें चाहिए. सो दिस ट्रांजिशन हैपन्स फॉर यू एंड आई थिंक यही आप कह रहे हो कि हर किसी को ये चीज़ करनी पड़ेगी, नहीं तो फिर तो आप कोई भी बुकलेट उठा के आप चलते रहेंगे, आप कहेंगे इससे भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, इससे क्वेश्चन नहीं आ सकता है. सो यू आर प्रीटी कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट योर स्ट्रैटेजी एज वेल कि आना होगा यहाँ से आ जाएगा और मिस होना होगा मिस हो जाएगा, कोई उसका कुछ और हम लोग करें.
So that actually came out of my experience in the second attempt only, where I had given the mains once and could not clear it. So I actually analyzed a lot that what went wrong in the second mains. Why did I miss the cutoff? Why could I miss 25 marks question in GS1? Why did I take excess of time? Why did I underwrite the content? So I did analysis very deeply of what went wrong in the second attempt. Plus, sir, I also looked at some of the topper copies. So I felt that they are also emphasizing on this only. Like Shruti ma'am would write a lot of examples. Anudeep sir would draw a lot of diagrams. Akshat sir would integrate a lot of points. So I tried to make sure that there is some commonality, some thread in all of this. And it was that they gave very specific focus on enrichments. So my focus was only collecting enrichments from the notes, not everything.
Tell me more about how did you analyze your GS2 wala attempt? Because you missed by just 4 marks. You could have easily told yourself कि मुझे बस थोड़ी speed बढ़ानी है. But you went over and beyond that, right? Why? Why did you what was going on then in your head?
Yes, sir. सर अगर my approach was कि अगर उस point of time पे सर सिर्फ speed भी बढ़ा देते, मान लेते 25 में से 10 नंबर मेरे को मिल जाते या 15 नंबर मिल जाते, so my score would have been 755 or 760. So even then I had got a call, but I had not secured a rank. So I wanted a landslide shift in my marks, like a jump of 50 marks at least. Though I could get a jump, if I recall, a 44 marks. This year I have 788. But I wanted a jump of 50, 60 marks at least in my mains examination to secure a rank. So for that, sir, the approach was that some structural changes are required. So that is why, sir, I brought enrichments. I brought these frameworks. so that mains answers can be perfected. Similarly, sir, I also brought keywords, a lot of keywords. So like, let's say I would mention sustainable development goals in the conclusion. I would mention fundamental rights and directive principles wherever necessary. I would rephrase the otherwise generic content in a more fashioned manner. So let's say we are studying governance. Now in governance, in corruption, not in corruption per se, but in any schemes, we write lack of awareness about government schemes. This is something that anyone can write or say. But if you say information asymmetry about government schemes, so that would become a more specialized way of writing the same content. So let's say someone says digital divide. So I would write it as digital apartheid. Just a very unique way of saying it. I would conclude my polity answers as achieving Ram Rajya via Gram Swaraj. So Vikasit Bharat, Samriddh Bharat, so Surakshit Bharat. So Surakshit Bharat I will use again and again in internal security. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and taking other snippets from Prime Minister and President's speeches. Then I would also quote, like in polity, in GS2, from various other, former presidents, what they had said, or Supreme Court judgments. So let's say Supreme Court said that the governors have to follow a moral light and inner moral light also in while taking decisions. So I'll say that the Supreme Court in Hargobind Pant case has said this. So this is the way I try to make my answers a bit stand out from other aspirants, just to secure that half a 1 mark edge per answer, so that the examiner gets impressed through that answer.
Excellent. And what did you do about questions जिस पे आपके पास कुछ भी कंटेंट अवेलेबल नहीं था? तो वहाँ पे आप जनरली द अप्रोच इज कि आपको जो भी आ रहा है आप कुछ कीवर्ड्स वगैरह पकड़ के क्वेश्चन में जो कीवर्ड्स पढ़ रहे हैं उनको ही आपने पकड़ के थोड़ा सा रिफ्रेस करके यू समहाउ ट्राई टू एक्सट्रैक्ट 1 or 2 मार्क्स, राइट? उसमें भी यू वर लाइक अराउंड, आपने कहा कि एक लेवल ऊपर उनको भी पुश किया जाए, एंड यूजिंग दीज टेक्निक इटसेल्फ, राइट?
Yes, sir. So I agree, sir. I mean, for those questions in which I have no idea, I would also, like other aspirants, beat around the bush because I have no idea about those questions. So in GS3, there was a question on Gothenburg Protocol. I had never read about it. So I just wrote random stuff in it that I could relate. But in certain questions, you can still make logical guesses around. So in GS1, there was a question on monsoon winds in India and its direction. And there was a second part of the question about a wind called as Purvaiya. And they asked what the state is. Now, I did not know in which state Purvaiya flows. And if I take a guess, then it can be very harmful if it goes wrong. So what I did was that I used a bit of logic that Purvaiya is something that may be originating from the east. The monsoon winds also enter from the east, so it is an easterly wind. So somewhere in the eastern region, it might be flowing. So I drew a map and I showed the eastern winds. So I think, sir, in questions where you do not know anything, the existing knowledge that you have, you just have to apply it. And generally, the trend is that you write those questions which you do not know at all towards the end. So anyways, we have less time for those questions and they are less in terms of marks returning. So you secure less marks, but you also give less time to those questions.
Perfect. Amazing. So that's what you have not missed. Like, you've been very specific. Like, आपको अगर basic lack of governance को भी एक level ऊपर push करना, you have constantly tried to take everything 1 level above throughout this whole preparation, right? So that's amazing, right? Final words में, what do you feel about students who feel that they are disadvantaged because उनका English speaking background नहीं है या फिर regional disparities है, and they have sort of convinced themselves कि हम लोगों का एग्जाम नहीं निकलेगा बिकॉज हमारे सिमिलर इन्वायरमेंट से या हमारे सिमिलर सिचुएशन से जो लोग हैं उनका नहीं निकला एग्जाम, राइट? एंड आई थिंक थोड़े से मुझे ये फैसेट्स आपके भी कॉन्वर्सेशन से मिले दैट यू योरसेल्फ सेड दैट आई एम नॉट अ कन्वेंशनल टॉपर, राइट? सो यू वुड ऑल्सो हैव हैड दीज थॉट्स कि प्रॉब्ली मेरे बैकग्राउंड वालों का इतना ईजी नहीं होता है, राइट? So what did you tell yourself? And if you were fairly confident, तो फिर what would you suggest aspirants जिनके ये दिमाग में ये thoughts आते रहते हैं?
Sir, I would say that to those aspirants who feel that there are external factors that disadvantage them, whether it is region, language, or anything, they should know that this is one of those examinations. This is one of the best level playing field examinations in the country. I mean, the level of regional diversity we have in the cohort that is selected is unparalleled across any examination. And if you make a dedicated attempt And if you try to address the core demand of the papers that are there by upskilling yourself, by doing that extra hard work, just to make your answers at par with others who are writing it. So for instance, if someone is writing in Hindi medium, if that person tries to make their Hindi content so good that they feel that it is not at par but also better than those who are writing English answers, I think they will definitely get rewarded. And indeed, there are certain privileges that were there with me. I mean, I had a very good family who could afford my education, who could send me to Delhi, who also financed my entire living and other expenses. There are many who are not able to do that, but still they clear the exam. They do a job and parallelly prepare for it, or they do other chores. So I think there is no problem in this world that cannot be solved with dedicated effort, with dedicated, conscious and continuous effort. If you are really wanting to make it, you can find a way to make it. It may be difficult. It may be filled with a lot of thorns. It may not be as easy for you as for some other candidates. But if you are too willing to get through, then you will find a way to get through. Else, if you think that the way will be too tough and that could maybe make you unstable, or that may not keep you going, then I think you can find alternative avenues. But if you are too willing to get through, and if you want, this is something for which I can sacrifice this much, then this is a journey which is worth that sacrifice. Once you get selected, you have the responsibility of a very significant burdened administrative machinery. And I think they want those candidates who can manage that mental burden, if not physical burden. So I think this is what they should feel and do. And the level playing field is immense. I mean, I could have never thought that I would clear it, but yet I cleared the examination. So if I say to aspirants that if I can do it, anyone can do it, because I never thought of doing it.
Humble, humility hai. Interview, last stage ki to discussion kare. So were you nervous about your interviews? Interviews, of course, you said that relatively easier hai than mains, but it's you know, a one-day show, end of the day, right? और ऊपर नीचे उसमें कुछ भी हो सकता है.
So sir, for me, I had this understanding that my communication skills are okay. So speaking and conveying my thoughts would not be that big of an issue. The problem was that interview process in itself is very uncertain. You don't know how much you end up getting at the first place. And so I was very nervous, of course, like other candidates in the interview. And I had prepared thoroughly. I had prepared my DAF very thoroughly. I had prepared questionnaire on all the keywords of my DAF. And I prepared current affairs, the static part, my optional, everything very thoroughly, so that at least I can speak certain things. And I had taken the feedback of all my mentors also very carefully. But on the day of the interview, of course, I was very nervous while entering Dholpur House. And I was not sure which board we'd be getting, because we get to know that in the last minute. And I was third in the number. So the wait for that 1 hour was seemingly too long. And I started revising my notes only just to make the time pass. And then I was called, and I was called to sit outside the chamber, and then I got to know who the chairperson was. So I entered the room, and when I entered the room, there was a thought that will I be able to do good or not? But then I left it on God. I mean, I just said I never thought that I'll be giving interview here. So I think if I have come this far, God will also like manage the rest of the journey. So I went in with an air of confidence. I tucked up my shoulders and broadened that, and went in with an air of confidence. And I sat on the chair and started answering the questions. The interview itself was very interesting. I mean, the chairperson asked me about my home district, about India-China relationship, about my campus, that is Jawaharlal Nehru University, and about other associated questions. I initially felt that probably maybe I was not very sure if my answers were being accepted in the same light or not, because in one of the cases, the interviewer exited the room also in between. So I was under the impression that maybe my answers were not that satisfactory. So I was not convinced. I mean, I tried to answer my level best, all the questions that were asked. But when I exited the room, I felt that maybe the answers are not that satisfactory. And I'll end up getting 150 to 160 marks. But then I kind of calmed myself that I did what I can do. I gave my best. I could have not given better. So I ended up scoring 200 marks in the interview.
Yep. So he scores 200, जो कि you know one of the highest वाले पे ही है, higher bar. एक aspirant 200 को 150 वाले से आप कैसे differentiate करते हो?
Sir, honestly, I mean, I can tell out of my own experience. So one of the questions that I was asked by the member was, and it was an analytical question, ki, let's say you are a judicial officer and someone commits a murder. Out of that murder, someone attempts to commit suicide, fails to commit that suicide, and is caught by the police. So will you punish that person? So I said that definitely, sir, I'll punish that person as per the law of the land. To which he asked me, कि अरे वो suicide कर लिया जेल में तो फिर? So to which this was a very analytical question. So I tried to dodge it by saying, okay, sir, there are community servicing guidelines in Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, which says that mental rehabilitation and other sessions can be extended to the prisoners. So I would try to bring that to the table for that prisoner so that he can be reconnected with the community. So he was seemingly satisfied. Then similarly, one of the members asked me, because SDGs was mentioned in my DAF. So one of the members asked me that, okay, you have worked on SDGs. Now tell me 2 areas where the SDGs are themselves conflictual. So we have 17 SDGs. So he asked me, what are the 2 areas where one SDG, if promoted, would lead to decline in other SDG? That is.
अच्छा, I'll pause you here.
Yes.
आपने ये चीज़ पहले सोची हुई है by any chance कि ये SDG बना?
No, sir. I had not.
You had to think on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yes, sir. So I had not thought. I had prepared SDGs, what SDGs were, when they were made, when they were supposed to complete, what is the progress, everything. But I had not thought this, that how can SDGs be conflictual to each other. So I requested politely for a 30-second break because I was not able to think only. All the SDGs sound so heavenly in terms of listening, poverty alleviation and health education and all that. So then I thought through and then I replied, sir, the first conflictual aspect would be goal number 1, that is no poverty, and goal number 13, that is climate action. Because if developing countries like India dedicate their entire financing to climate action, they won't have the resources for economic development and poverty alleviation. To which he said, yes, correct. What is the second one? So I again asked for a 30-second break. He said, I'll need some more time to think because it was something that I was not able to think only. And then I said, sir, the second would be the conflict between goal number 9, that is industry, innovation and infrastructure, and goal number 14 and 15, that is life on land and life below water. Because when we set up an industry, we acquire land, we use water bodies, we pollute them as well. So land acquisition leads to cutting of trees, that affects life on land. Pollution of water, that leads to affecting life below water. So somewhere industry affects goal number 14 and 15. Next question he asked me was, you are a chief secretary of a state, how will you manage this? How will you reconcile between the two conflicting things? So I made 2 answers, sir, I'll try to bring the middle ground. Okay, no, I don't want to listen generic things. Tell me specifically what will you do? So I said, sir, for any developmental project of industries or infrastructure, I'll undertake environment impact assessment and quality assessment, as in what can be the probable environmental impacts, and minimize them via mitigation efforts like compensatory afforestation and things like that. To which he was okay, satisfied. I mean, I don't know if he was satisfied or not. So one thing that I think separates 2 categories of candidates in interview is, number 1, that how much thinking personality you are. Can you think through the high thinking questions that they're asking? So I was a great fan of Apala Mishra ma'am. She had secured 215 in the interview, which was the highest in her year. And she was asked by the member that, okay, in India there is linguistic pluralism, but do you think that in India there is legal pluralism? So she also said the same thing, that I had to think a lot to garner certain points. So the same thing happened with me also in the interview. The second thing is, sir, that whatever you answer, you should answer that with a great deal of conviction, confidence, with forcefulness, so that you have confidence in what you are saying. And you should stand your ground. A lot of times, even in mock interviews, we are told that you should not question, or you should not, question the authority of the members. I'm not asking anyone to question that authority, but I'm asking that if you have a logical argument, you should stand your ground and you should defend it. The interviewer themselves would appreciate that. So in one of the cases, I disagreed with the chairperson and I politely told him, sorry sir, I beg to disagree. I believe that this is the case. And he very humbly agreed to that. So I think holding your ground in the interview shows your spine and shows that you have very logical opinions that would, kind of contribute to the governance process ahead. And the third thing I think, sir, that matters in the interview is that you should be able to maintain your calm, composure, smile across the interview. Because the stress tests will be there. I mean, in my case, the chairperson left the room once, was also using mobile phone in between. So I think somewhere he was trying to undertake that stress test with me. Other panelists were also maintaining a very, tight faces. So I think if you are able to maintain your calm, composure, and if you are able to smile through that, then they would feel that this is a person who actually is very genuine as well as can work under very high pressure. So I think these are the capabilities that they tend to test in the interview.
Excellent यार, पूरा आपका इंटरव्यू भी the questions were so thought provoking. वो सुइसाइड वाला भी लाइक यू कुड हैव, मेरे दिमाग में वही आ रहा था कि ठीक है भाई, एक बार जेल में आ गया फिर वो सुइसाइड कर रहा है तो उसमें हम अब क्या कर सकते हैं, बट आपका थॉट प्रोसेस ये था भाई सुइसाइड रोको ना, राइट? सो दैट डजंट कम नेचुरली, राइट? क्वेश्चन के साथ फ्लो में अगर आप सोचते रहो तो फिर गलती करने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं. लाइक थिंकिंग ऑन द फीट इज़ नॉट समथिंग that's very, it has to be imbibed. सब लोग नहीं कर पाते हैं. So that's there. बाकी, how did you know that he is 200? What did you see?
Neil, you should be saying that. But again, I saw a great potential in him. The initial calls that I did, of course, as I said, he was sorted enough to communicate his thought process. So there I knew that articulation-wise, I don't have to work a lot with him. I just have to make sure that he takes opinions right. So as he said that they're checking your spine. I think I remember telling him the same that stick to your opinion. They're just checking.
Yeah, but that's not our philosophy. So इस पे ही क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं. So साकेत would tell aspirants कि ठीक है, एक लिमिट तक आप अपने स्पाइन के अपने थॉट प्रोसेस का स्टिक करो, बट अगर आपको पैनल बार बार नच कर रहा है कि हिंट्स दे रहा है कि नहीं भाई, वी वांट यू टू टेक अ साइड और वी वांट यू टू लाइक shift little bit from your opinion, तो फिर तो you have to take that hint and then go along with the panel, right? That's
so my thought is that of course that depends on the topic and on the subject on which the discussion is going on, but if you are having conviction on that, like if you're yourself convinced that this is the case, then you should maintain your ground. But to feel that no, there is something value to what the panelist is also suggesting, then you should humbly say that okay sir, this is what is as per my limited understanding and I'll read more about it. In case he is not satisfied and he wants you to change his opinion, rather than changing your opinion, you should state that I'll read more facts about it outside and then change my opinion, than changing your opinion on the spot.
Perfect, guys. I mean, hats off. This has been an amazing session. So much clarity, so much attention to detail. I think it's going to help students a lot. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
मज़ा आ गया. एक हम लोग probably academic session, because आपने इतना pinpointed चीज़ें बताई हुई. एक only acads पे let's do a deep dive whenever you are free.
Sure.
Right? And one of the best, clearly